Hello and welcome to OVERDRIVE. I'm Rohit Paratkar. We are in Spain right now to drive the new Taycan, and I'm going to quickly show you all the details on what is new in the Taycan for 2025. So this is the updated model. Internal code name is J1-2. So essentially this is an update to the Taycan that we already know. It is more than just a nip and tuck job. It is more than just a facelift, but the driving impressions of this car are something that I'm going to give you later in my review. In this particular video, I'm going to point out what the changes are to the exterior so that you can easily identify the facelift from the outgoing model. So the first thing that you're going to notice is the new sharper profile for the front end, especially those flattened headlights that has given the car a slightly wider look that you can see in this frame right here. And the headlights themselves are upgraded with the new Porsche HD Matrix tech. So they can do some cool stuff like even paint a light carpet in front of the car. So like a video game, you can essentially see where the car is going to go. It will give you that ideal line. It will show you what the line is, the driving line is. So especially in tight spaces like construction zones or maybe tight lanes, you're going to get a clear idea of the driving path for the vehicle because the lights are going to paint that for you. It's going to be the light carpet. So that's going to be that new technology that's going to be a part of the other matrix tech that you get with such headlights. Then you're also going to notice the new bumpers. Now this right here is the Taycan 4S. On the side you're going to see the turbo. So you will see the obvious differences between the turbo and the Taycan 4S. When you look at those bumpers, you get those additional wings, those additional cuts on the Taycan Turbo. You can notice them right under the headlight, whereas on the 4S you're not going to see them. Even the lower part of the bumper is going to be slightly more aggressive. The wings, etc., are going to give it that slightly more aggressive profile. Now, one thing that has changed, and you may not really notice it very clearly in this video, is that there's this little crease right over the headlight. This one, maybe in the slightly darker color, you'll be able to notice it. There is this crease that originates over the headlight. Now, this wasn't available on the outgoing car. So this has been done to improve the aerodynamic efficiency. That little crease has managed to reduce the wind turbulence around the frontal area of the car. So that is something that they've done towards improving the aero efficiency. Again, the new bumpers that you see on the Turbo and the 4S models, they have better aerodynamic efficiency than the outgoing car. Even the wheels have much improved aero efficiency. You have different designs for the wheels. Again, this is what you see on the 4S, this is what you see on the Turbo. You will see another one here on the Cross Turismo. So there are quite a few wheel design options that you will notice. There's another one there. So there will be quite a few of those. But the idea is all the new wheel designs have better aero efficiency than before. Even the tires that they come short with now, no matter which variant you're choosing, these are going to be of a lower rolling resistance compared to the outgoing car. So the wheels and tires alone are contributing to about 40 kilometers of increased range for this vehicle. They've also put in larger batteries. The battery density is much better. The batteries are lighter despite being larger. So all of this is going to give it close to 34% more range than the outgoing car. Now coming back to the visuals again, let's take a look at the tail section of the car. So here, you're still going to get that little glass window with the Porsche lettering inside, but this is going to be illuminated now. So that's going to add that touch of class. So you still get that PCB kind of detailing, printed circuit board kind of detailing on the inside. It's raining here, so you may not really see that clearly, but like I said, that Porsche lettering is going to be illuminated. Slight revisions to the rear bumper as well, not something that is going to be very noticeable. That's the 4S and that is the Turbo S for you. And just for comparison, that's the Turbo S in the Cross Turismo format. Now, if you were to step inside, you're still going to get multiple screens in this car. So there is going to be the instrumentation, which is going to be a screen. The HVAC controls are going to be a screen. The infotainment is going to be a screen. And you're also going to get that additional screen for the passenger. These are left-hand drive vehicles, of course, which is why the passenger screen is on this side. But the change here is that the passenger screen comes with a privacy glass, which means that the passenger can see the screen very clearly, but the driver will not be able to see that passenger screen. So they're not going to get distracted. Why they have done that is because the passenger screen now has streaming services. So you'll be able to stream Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc., depending on what all services they bring for the India spec model. But yes, there's going to be video streaming that will be available on that. You will be able to pair your AirPods, you'll be able to pair your Bluetooth headphones with it. So the audio or the video is not going to distract the driver. So that's going to be the primary change there. And then they have added a few more functionality to the CarPlay. The CarPlay is now going to give you the same iPhone interface or that CarPlay interface, even for some of the vehicle controls. So some of the stuff like the HVAC, some of the controls for some of the infotainment settings or some of the vehicle settings are going to be displayed in the same format as your CarPlay or your iPhone. So that's going to just make it that much easier to use. At the rear, nothing really changes. The Taycan was always a spacious car, and that continues here as well. Now what you're going to notice is that there is quite a bit of distance between the wheel and the wheel arch. But the moment I close the door, you will see that the vehicle is going to drop down. So this is a part of their new active suspension. So every time you're going to open the doors, the vehicle is going to raise itself to make ingress and egress easy. And the moment you close the doors, a few seconds later, it's going to drop down to its normal height. Now, air suspension is going to be standard across the range. Now, this, like I said, is the Taycan 4S. Even the Taycan base model will get air suspension. So air suspension is going to be standard across the range, but the active ride, that is going to be the optional extra that you can have with your vehicle. Now, across the range, base, 4S, Turbo, Turbo S, and even the Turbo GT, all of them now have improvements to their power, to their battery, to the overall output, to their range. All of that I'm going to talk about in detail in my review on Overdrive. So definitely do stay tuned to overdrive.in and youtube.com/odmag. Now this vehicle will be launched in the Indian market in a few months from now. What we are going to get at launch will be the Taycan base, the Taycan 4S that you see here, and the Taycan Turbo. These are the vehicles that will come to the Indian market to begin with. The Turbo S could be introduced at a later stage. The Turbo GT could also be introduced at a later stage, depending on what kind of demand and what kind of interest Porsche sees from the Indian consumers. Let me know what you think about the Taycan. Let me know what you think about electrification in general in this particular space, because the Taycan, as always, is one of the benchmarks for premium or performance EVs. But I would like to know your thoughts about electrification in general, about this segment, about this car. And if you were out to buy a Porsche, would you choose this or would you choose something else? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video.